And now,
So,
story time with Ultimate 23 Dragon.
I am so using that in future videos.
If you've been a fan of auto racing for as long as I have been, odds are you have a favorite race of all time. If you watch multiple forms of auto racing, you might even have one for every racing series. Despite the fact that I watch multiple forms of auto racing, including IndyCar, the NHRA, Monster Jam, Stadium Super Trucks, Off-Road Trucks, SRX until I died because Paul Tracy, and most recently F-Zero 99 live streams because screw modern-day NASCAR, I wouldn't be able to definitively tell you what my favorite race in every series was. I'd have to think about it. That's not the case for NASCAR, though. It shouldn't be surprising that my favorite race of all time in all forms of motorsports is in fact a NASCAR race. Now, I know you probably have some guesses as to what that race is. Assumingly, the races I think most of you would guess would be the 2003 Funai 250, the 2001 Pennzoil Freedom 400, the 2002 Brickyard 400, the 2002 Potsugar Microwave 400, and the 2008 Ford 200. All would be great guesses, but surprisingly, none of them are the correct answer. Besides, I've already done videos on the latter two already. My favorite race of all time was a home race for me, and in the best series far and away during arguably the best year that series ever had. This race ended up being huge for the battle for the championship that year. It was everything I had wished for, and then some. Which race is it? Well, today, I will tell you the story of that race. This is my story of the 2008 Kroger 200. Okay, there were two races in 2008 called the Kroger 200, so I'll be more specific. This is my story of the 2008 Fall Martinsville Truck Race. My favorite race of all time. So, yes, this technically was my home race for the Truck Series in 2008 because Richmond was not on the Truck Series schedule that year. But more importantly, this race took place on October 18th, 2008. My birthday is October 14th. Yeah, home race plus birthday plus favorite driver racing for the championship. Exciting! What was not exciting was the stunt NASCAR pulled where a few weeks prior, they decided to implement a rule change reducing Toyota's horsepower against the Chevrolets in both trucks and what's now known as the Xfinity Series. Pretty much everyone knew the true purpose of this stunt was to try to steal the Truck Series title from Johnny Benson and gift wrap it to Ron Hornaday. It was uber obvious. It literally had no effect on the Xfinity Points battle manufacturer-wise, and that series wasn't as popular at that point in time due to all the bushwhacking anyway. And the two championship contenders in Xfinity that year were bushwhackers. In a Chevy and a Ford nonetheless, so it was completely irrelevant for them. Back to my birthday, I basically had only one simple wish for my birthday. The perfect Martinsville truck race, which would consist of Johnny Benson winning the race on his way to winning the championship, and Ron Hornaday finishing in the back of the pack, but not due to a crash. Mainly because one of my friends in my old racing group is a Hornaday fan. That way, no one gets chewed out by my friend, Hornaday, or NASCAR. Anyway, coming into this race, Ron Hornaday had already stolen Johnny Benson's points lead after the previous race at Talladega. Down by 39 points, this was definitely going to be an uphill battle for Johnny. Short tracks like Martinsville may be the great equalizer, though, as horsepower isn't as big of a factor at a track like Martinsville compared to tracks like Texas, Atlanta, and Homestead. However, Ron Hornaday won the pole. Great! On lap 6, Johnny Benson worked his way up from 5th to 3rd, but now had to contend with the two KHI trucks of Ron Hornaday and Kevin Harvick. There's some great news. There was actually a lot of good racing going around in the early portions of the race. No ridiculousness or mayhem, which you usually see at Martinsville. As the commentators were discussing the potential of a race going caution-free, guess what happened?
Working around slower lap traffic. We're seeing some trucks making their way by.
What do you think? We're going to go caution-free today?
I don't think there's absolutely any way.
I don't want to jinx it, but I'm saying right now, everyone's running a pretty clean race. I mean, we haven't seen anyone get too impatient up to this point and move anyone out of the way to take a position.
Yeah, there's a good there's a spin right there. Sean Case up into the outside wall.
And as quickly as we talk about it, the caution comes out. It is Sean Case in the wall in turn 4.
And the key to that, Rick, the leaders had just driven right up to the back of that group, and people just get more. You got to go at that point.
You're intense. And
Sean received.
Sean was on the outside. Not sure if he had any contact at all. You see the damage to that Germain Toyota Lumber Liquidators also on board that Toyota.
Sean Case spun all by himself to cause the first caution. Pit stops commenced and Talbotine got stuck behind Eric Darnell. The varying pit strategy was an interesting one as everyone came in for what was planned to be the only pit stop of the race. Everyone took either fuel only or 2 tires. Except Johnny Benson, who took 4 tires. At that moment, I had no confidence that would work. How he ended up 6 after all that, I have no idea. But with double file restarts, he might as well have been in 12th place, which for Martinsville is not good. What I also didn't know was whatever the heck Scott Speed was doing here. Surprisingly, no black flag. Supposedly, it was because he was on the tail end of the lead lap, which, sure. You want to know what wasn't surprising, though? The commentators were talking about a specific driver, and guess what happened?
There's John Wood, the 21, jumps to the outside of Dustin Skinner in the 03, Mike Son, making his first ever Truck Series start.
3 wide as they go into turn number 1, and it looks like it might work.
They made it. Amazingly enough.
Still 2 wide around this racetrack, and we got a problem there. Dustin Skinner up into the wall.
Looked like the 21 of John Wood got into the back of Dustin and actually turned his truck a little bit to the right when Dustin was trying to get turned to turn down in the corner.
There's damage to the right side of that race truck, but we still have no caution.
It's got the right front toe knocked way out there, Phil.
Yeah.
Oh, and there the caution's going to come out. We've got a problem in turn 2 as well. The 0 of Chris Jones gets turned around.
Well, now we're starting to work a little bit closer back to our average.
Yeah,
we're 2 and 44 laps. We got it down to 22 laps before we have an average caution.
We're not going caution free then obviously here. So
John Wood wrecks Dustin Skinner as the commentators were just talking about him, and although Dustin got going, Chris Jones spins out moments later. That is why the caution came out. Another restart happened and things settled in rather quickly. The caution came out again just after a quick few laps. A logjam caused Eric Darnell to be spun after a tap from David Starr. Another restart commenced, and apparently Hornaday decided to do what Scott Speed did, to an extent, of course. There was a lot of action with the primary focus going on between a battle with Kyle Busch, Talbotine, Jamie McMurray, and Johnny Sauter. Behind them, a 3-wide situation ends peacefully. The attention then turns to Johnny Benson, who is battling Dennis Setzer for 3rd.
Johnny Benson right now is running in the 4th spot. Ray, what's going on with Johnny?
Well, Phil, I just wanted to go back to that round of pit stops. It happened on lap 36, and Trip Bruce was on the radio with his crew and said, we're doing 4 tires. Johnny saw all the guys go by, and he said, what happened there? How come they all beat us off pit road? And Trip said, no tires. Johnny said, well, what does that mean? Trip said, well, it's pretty simple. We put on 4 good years, they put on 0. And Johnny said, well, that'll play to our favor towards the end of the race. I think tires could make a little bit of a difference, and he is slowly working his way back up. He restarted 6th, up to 4th, and he's getting ready to battle with Setzer.
I'm glad Johnny had confidence in that call because I sure didn't. Anyway, Johnny does get by Dennis Setzer for 3rd. Pretty soon, Johnny gets by Kevin Harvick for 2nd on the outside. Also, Harvick makes contact with Benson because, of course, he does. The broadcast then does a through the field. During that, Johnny Benson catches Ron Hornaday in the lap traffic. During that battle and the through the field report on Jamie McMurray, this bizarre incident happened.
He said earlier he's having a hard time driving because the throttle is sticking just a bit when he gets into the corner. Now, one reason we'll keep our eye on the 09 as this race continues is he took right side tires on that pit stop at lap 36. And as we talk about McMurray, there's caution on the track.
21 of John Wood gets turned around, and so that brings out our 4th caution of the day. Thank you, Ray and Adam. A lot of work on that, walking us through the field.
That's a big caution, Phil. Johnny Benson had caught Hornaday, and he's racing to that halfway point to try to get that lead so he could have a chance to lead the most laps today. But then right in the middle of that, the 71 and the 21, wow.
Yeah, they make contact in the middle of the straightaway, and unfortunately, John gets the worst of it. There's Kevin Harvick right there going by. Kevin's running in the 3rd spot. I think Ron Hornaday knows that if Johnny Benson gets by him, that may be the last shot he has on him. And if he does it before halfway, and that could be the most laps led.
John Wood and Ben Stansel collide on the straightaway somehow, and that causes a caution. Oh, and even better, this was the following race start.
Welcome back. Coming out of turn number 4, Ron Hornaday has a mirror full of Johnny Benson. Green flag back in the air. We're closing in on the halfway point.
Johnny Benson is going to press, Rick. He needs that lead.
Oh, right away, the 71 gets into the curve and almost knocks the 23 out of the way.
Still there.
That may be just enough for Ron Hornaday. We've completed 97 laps. If Ron can lead 4 more, then he will be assured of getting the bonus for leading the most laps.
I think we got a flat or better rim.
Oh, man. You just heard Johnny Benson say, I think we got a flat or bent the rim.
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard there.
Ben Stansel got into the curb and shot out into Johnny Benson.
That just goes to show you how many variables can enter into winning a race at Martinsville. That curb vaults trucks into the side of you when they hit it on the inside.
Let's take a look back, Mikey, at what happened here. You see the 71 on the inside. Ron gets by him. 71 tries to get in there. He runs over the curb and then made some pretty good contact with a 23 of Johnny. It looked like there was more damage to the rear than the front. This is Hermie Sadler's on board.
Hits him right in the left rear corner. I don't think the tires flat are going flat, or he would know it by now. But if the wheel's bent, that's just jumping that truck around on him. It's making it not want to stick to the road as well as it was before because it's unbalanced.
Guess what? If Ron Hornaday gets to the start-finish line before Johnny, he will clinch the bonus for leading the most laps. Ooh, Jack Sprague's turned around.
No caution.
No caution yet, and Ron Hornaday does lead this lap, so he will get the 5 extra points for leading the most laps.
101 laps led already by Ron Hornaday. What an impressive start to this race. We've given him some grief at the beginning of a lot of races about never leading laps here at Martinsville. He'd only led 7 coming in. But take a look at this. This is how Jack Sprague got turned around.
A little bit of contact from the 88 of Matt Craft, and around he goes. Jack does a nice job keeping that truck out of the outside wall.
Yeah, I bet the 23 would have liked to have seen a caution.
He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop if the caution comes out. Right now he's running second. He's not going to give up all that track position, is he, Mikey?
Nothing he could do about that. Just his truck is definitely different now.
Ray Dunlap, what is he saying?
Johnny says it's shaking all over the place. The truck is jumping, especially through the center of the corner. And Trip Bruce said, look, we're looking at the left side. There's not even a tire mark on it. He said, maybe you lost a wheel weight. But he said, other than that, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to continue. And that's just where they've left it.
Yeah, he may have to come to pit road, but if he does come to pit road, that will take all chances of him winning this race out. So I think, and I mean, Tripp may not have seen the video that we saw that well, but there was some pretty hard contact. It may not be a tire mark on the fender, but there was some pretty good contact, maybe from tire to tire.
So Ben Stansel's rampage apparently continues as he does whatever this was and makes contact with Johnny Benson. Gee, I wonder why this guy never raced again after 2009. Anyway, this caused Johnny to panic for a moment, thinking something was wrong with the truck right after that. Trip Bruce, Johnny's crew chief, assured Johnny the truck was fine from his perspective and all the contact did was make the truck lose a wheel weight. Jack Sprague spun out just as Ron Hornaday clinched the most laps led bonus. No caution. Behind all that, this pack of trucks had some intense moments. Right after that, a debris caution flew.
Patience will have to be the key word, and we see debris on the racetrack. That brings out another caution, the 5th caution of the day.
Our leader, Ron Hornaday, brings Johnny Benson and Kevin Harvick, 2nd and 3rd place trucks, through that area on the racetrack.
Something laying off turn 2 over there.
TJ Bell and David Starr makes contact, which resulted in part of the right front of TJ Bell's truck coming off, causing an actual debris caution. Under the yellow, concerns of rain popped up, and Rick Wren, Ron Hornaday's crew chief, asked Hornaday to save fuel. Of course, the caution lap should help him, right? Also during the yellow, the broadcast booth shows footage of the front stretch camera lens being broken. If you slow down the footage... Yep, Ben Stancil again. And oh no, he's right beside Johnny Benson on the race start again. What happens this time?
Green flag.
Look at Chad McCumbee. He laid back there, timed that restart, see what he can do when he gets down to turn 1. Not able to pull up on Ron Hornaday.
Johnny has a good corner, able to run around the outside of the 8 truck of McCumbee and stick right on Hornaday's tailgate.
So now Johnny Benson doesn't have the lap traffic to deal with on this restart. Is able to get by on
Look at Johnny's
lap.
all over Hornaday. Looks to the inside.
Johnny Benson taking a peek down to the inside again. He is now 3 wide once again here at Martinsville.
Johnny's on the inside, looking to the inside of Hornaday. He's got his nose in there. He dives into the inside.
Trying to hang on. He slides up the racetrack. Contact being made. Side by side across the start-finish line. And I saw some debris come off of one of those trucks right when they went across the start-finish line.
Could have been a little bit rubber buildup after this restart.
There's potential a cut tire could have happened there because of the way those two were rubbing against each other when they came out. They still haven't decided. Here comes Johnny Benson again to the inside.
And oh, by the way, there's Kevin Harvick, too, the owner of that 33 truck.
Kevin Harvick trying to get into the mix. Johnny Benson backing back now, backing off, and well, here comes Johnny Benson once again to the inside.
Good run off turn 2. Ron just runs down so far into the corner, holds Johnny off and pinches Johnny down. Johnny can't get that run off the turn he needs, but he's on the inside.
Ron knows right now that if Johnny gets by him, that could be the pass for the lead and the win. He's got to hold him back there.
He's trying to hold off. Johnny Benson. Benson with a really good corner that time.
Got sideways.
Oh, and then he turns it almost as he comes out of turn number 2. That allows Ron Hornaday to have the preferred line again.
Oh, and Harvick hits
now
Johnny.
Harvick's getting into the mix. He gets into the back of the 23. That turns him a bit. And David Starr gets turned around, and so now the caution will have to come out as David Starr can't get it going again.
No caution yet. David Starr does get it going.
He's rolling once again, and the caution won't come out, and so they stay racing. Ron Hornaday in front of Johnny Benson and Kevin Harvick across the start-finish line.
What a great call by NASCAR there to give David Starr some time to get his truck going. We had an incredible battle for the lead, and the guy that was trying to take it, Johnny Benson, tapped by the point leader's owner. I mean, it was dramatic right there.
I'm not sure that something didn't happen to Ron, which has caused the 23 to seize up, and that's why Kevin got into him.
I think we've got to pay attention to the left rear tire of this 33 truck. I think there might be issues coming later in this race.
Do what?
I'm telling you, they rubbed hard on that left rear.
How slow do you think a leak's going to be?
You keep your eye on that. I'm telling you right now, I think there's going to be an issue with that left rear.
Okay.
Well, I don't think there will be.
David Starr on the outside, 3 wide. That's what happens typically when you go 3 wide. Brendan was on the inside, looked like the 0-8. Ryan Lawler in the middle.
We've seen these guys make 3 wide a few times, so law of averages said they couldn't do it every time. And around goes David Starr. Didn't lose a lap.
All but a lap. He's got Ron Hornaday right now, right behind him, trying to put him a lap down.
He's about to go a lap down.
You know, Michael, we were talking about a few moments ago when there was contact between Benson and Harvick. Who the 03's having a problem right now. That's Dustin Skinner, Mike Skinner's son.
He's a lot of laps down.
There's a 33 of Ron Hornaday. He gets by the 11 of David Starr. But remember, just a few moments ago, Michael, we were talking about the contact between the 2 of Harvick in third and the 23 of Skinner. Watch this now. I'm sorry, the 23 of Johnny Benson. We go down in the corner. This is down in the 3. You see Ron there on the inside. He gets in front of Johnny. Ooh, Kevin makes just a little bit of contact right before it looked like Johnny might be able to get in the back of Ron Hornaday a little bit.
Johnny couldn't go because Ron hadn't gone yet, but Kevin didn't realize what all was going on ahead of him. I bet you there were some tense moments there out of Johnny Benson's helmet. I'm sure he didn't appreciate getting run into by Hornaday's owner, Harvick.
Johnny's going to fight back here. He's gained several truck lengths on Ron Hornaday while he was trying to get by the 11 of David Starr. Hey, Ray, what were they talking about on the radio down there?
Well, Phil, you remember about 4 races ago when NASCAR implemented the change on the plate size for the Toyotas. Well, Johnny Benson doing a little politicking there on the radio. He said, I was side by side with Hornaday. He said, if we didn't have a restrictor plate on this Toyota, I'd have been able to make the pass on that Chevrolet. And the team came back and said, yeah, that's a big 10-4. So doing a little politicking on the radio. Adam?
Ray, when you talked to Kevin Harvick in our setup show earlier today, he said the primary reason for running in this race, to have fun. And a perfect example of that, after the contact on the racetrack moments ago with Johnny Benson, he said, hey, the 23 got up there and messed with Hornaday. That probably cost me $1,500, so I just thought I'd go up and take it back out of his bumper cover. No doubt Harvick having fun, and he looks pretty dang good on the racetrack as well.
Okay, where do I start? Both Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson cleared the lappers on the restart and have an amazing battle. Towards the end of this part of the battle, Johnny's truck gets loose out of turn 2, but he manages to save it. So naturally, Kevin Harvick does this to Johnny. Afterwards, David Starr spun it in a 3-wide situation, and surprisingly, there was no caution. The commentators are starting to lose it as Phil Parsons and Rick Allen have a spat over concerns over Ron Hornaday's left rear tire. Phil then says that Johnny Benson is Mike Skinner, and Michael Waltrip thinks that Ron Hornaday is Kevin Harvick. Okay. Benson calls out the horsepower reduction rule change as he should, and then Kevin Harvick complains about Johnny Benson racing Ron Hornaday hard. Harvick, you're the last person on the planet who should be complaining about that, let alone against Johnny Benson! Everything finally settled down just for this to happen.
Oh, we got a spinner off turn 4. Is that Jeff Green?
Jeff Green in the Ford. It gets turned around, and that will bring out the caution. This is the 6th caution of the day. Now, up to this point, we have only had 25 laps of caution, and we only have about 60 laps of racing to go.
Yeah, these guys are breathing a bit of sigh relief right now because they need some more caution laps, I think, Michael.
Yeah,
this is not going to be enough.
Yeah, we heard them during the last caution saying we're only about 6 or 7 laps short now of making it to the finish. So this will get them 3 or 4. And the way Hornaday and Benson were racing, we might get another caution or 2, I bet.
Jeff Green gets spun by not Ben Stancil again. Anyway, a few drivers pitted for one reason or another. The restart went fine, but after a few laps, this happened.
No problems with the 6. Colin Brown gets turned around. That brings out another caution for us.
He was running in the top 10.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the front of that.
Pretty hard on the left front, right front. He's coming around. I don't see much smoke. Come on, Colin.
It's Bobby Hudson, the spotter for Colin Brown. Mike Beam also talking.
He took that truck straight to pit road. He knows he's got some pretty significant damage.
Colin Braun got loose underneath Donnie Leah's truck and crashes. The restart came with less than 50 laps to go. Hornaday gets squirrely off the corner and Benson avoids him. Less than a lap later, while side by side, Hornaday slides up the track by locking up the left front, and Johnny Benson finally takes the lead for the first time all race. But it's not over yet. A few laps later, Colin Braun gets spun out, but there was no caution as he managed to continue. Things looked like they would finally calm down until this happened coming out of the commercial break.
Welcome back to the Kroger 200. David Starr makes the hard left turn behind the wall and into the infield area. He has just got into the wall. Take another look at this.
He's racing with the 16 of Brian Scott. Brian gets to the inside. They get down to the corner, just make some contact.
David Starr crashes as a result of contact with Brian Scott, bringing out another caution. Intense as the race was becoming up to that point, that intensity only increased on the following restart. There was a lot of battles going on all throughout the field. Harvick bumped Hornaday, which honestly surprised a lot of us. Surely Harvick didn't insist on helping Hornaday by backdrafting with him at Martinsville, right? Right? Anyway, at 10 to go, Jeff Green gets crashed again.
Spin in a backstretch. Caution flag is out.
And again,
Jeff Green again.
The 9th time the caution has come out. This time it's for Jeff Green on lap 191. We were reeling in the final laps of this race.
No lap trucks down on the inside of our leader, so it's going to be Johnny versus Ron without anybody for Johnny to pick Ron off on.
And who better to have a restart than Ron Hornaday, and he's right behind Johnny Benson on this restart.
Yeah, okay. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, as Sam Hornish Jr. apparently wrecked Jeff Green when Jeff Green was behind him. Sure. However, things started to get very interesting.
We just saw Donnie Leah apparently run out of fuel. Now, we thought fuel could be an issue. We haven't had as many caution laps as we typically have. Remember, 65 is the average. Right now, we've had 43 caution laps. Donnie Leah was the first guy to run out. Is he going to be the only guy to run out of fuel?
Well, are there some worried crew chiefs right now?
Wow, they weren't. I guarantee you they said it's all fine. We can make it. And now Donnie Leah runs out. And we still have 6 laps to go.
That's one of the worried crew chiefs right there, Trip Bruce.
Johnny Benson's crew chief.
He might have just a little more gas, though. He got 4 tires, so it took him longer to pit. So they would have put more gas in it, maybe.
Ernie Cope.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's crew chief, Ernie Cope, right there.
Donnie Leah runs out of fuel under the caution, which now causes fuel concerns coming to the restart with 5 laps to go.
Johnny needs to have a career restart here, and he does. He gets
Single file restart, green flag in the air. Johnny Benson in front of Ron Hornaday. The final 5 laps of racing.
Ron may feel like this is his only shot here to do something with Johnny. Johnny gets off the corner good. Got a truck length right now on Ron. Ron locks that left run up again.
And that allows Kevin Harvick to get right up next to him, but we know Kevin won't pass him.
We assume Kevin won't pass him.
We would assume Kevin wouldn't pass him. Team owner for the 33.
You can see Johnny. Oh, Hornaday's out of gas.
He's out of gas.
Hornaday goes to the inside. He looks like he keeps it going, though, now.
It picked back up. If you watch, it won't go now.
Run out again. There he is, out of fuel right now.
A huge event taking place here as Hornaday trying to move back and forth to get fuel on the pickup. And so Ron Hornaday with issues with that truck. The caution has not come out.
Ron's coasting through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, what a huge point implication this is going to be.
This is going to be very big for Johnny Benson.
We've got 24 trucks right now on the lead lap. The best Ron Hornaday's going to do if he gets back to his pit. Look like he's not going to make it. I don't know if he's going to make it.
If the caution flag comes out now, a green-white checker could compromise other people's ability to get to the checker flag. He's still rolling. The white flag is out.
White flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Johnny Benson. Kevin Harvick looks like he's out as well. Kevin Harvick is weaving back and forth. Here comes Dennis Setzer now as Harvick runs out of fuel. He will pull in right beside his team truck, and now it's all Johnny Benson working his way out of turn number 4. Benson is going to win in Martinsville. Benson with that win will now take over the lead. Problems coming out of turn number 4. Brendan Gaughan gets turned around. And right there, a huge point implication today. 65-point swing. Well, more than that, 65 points is the lead that Johnny Benson now has over Ron Hornaday.
Does everybody see how hard it is to win one of these darn things?
Oh my God, how did that happen? Just as it looked like it would come down to one final duel for the win, Ron Hornaday runs out of fuel. It gave the appearance that he simply got loose off the corner, which is why he didn't go straight to pit road. Coming off of turn 4 that lap, though, Hornaday runs out of fuel once and for all and struggles to make it back to pit road, to which he fails. For some reason, NASCAR didn't throw the caution. And my assumption is I thought Johnny Benson would run out of fuel as well before the checkered flag. However, it was Kevin Harvick who also ran out of fuel, and he struggles to get back to the finish line. Johnny Benson wins. Dennis Setzer, racing for Bobby Hamilton Racing, finishes second. Meanwhile, Harvick's off-the-pace truck causes a calamity as Timothy Peters tries to get by Harvick, but that results in Brendan Gaughan getting spun out. The Harvick and Hornaday fans of the group were bummed. The Bodine/Gaughan fan of the group was not too happy with Timothy Peters, and neither was Brendan. The Busch Brother fan of the group was just mad with this race, and the Benson fan of the group, me obviously, was just absolutely ecstatic. As was Johnny and his team.
104-point swing. Johnny Benson, your point leaders in victory lane.
And here he comes. Johnny Benson will climb out of this number 23. Almost hard to believe. A truck with no sponsorship on it today. But what an unbelievable points day. And Johnny Benson, you had never led a lap at Martinsville till today, and man, you had a strong truck.
That was pretty cool. I don't know what to say. You know, Trip Bruce and those guys did a great job, and week in and week out, they always build me great trucks to go race with. And got to thank you know, everybody. Well, not everybody on this week. We didn't have anything, but still Toyota certified used vehicles and XI batteries, and of course Toyota for everything that they do. TRD, just everybody involved. Trip, you're the man, brother. And yeah, you know, I learned a lot today. Probably more from the 24 today, sitting down in 1 and 2 during our 3 hours worth of just sitting around waiting for the race to start. So I sat down there and watched for a bit, watched a bunch of different lines down there, and Trip gave me a good truck, no doubt, but just a couple different lines down there really worked out great. So got to say hi to my girls at home. They're sitting there watching us. Too bad they couldn't be here. So God, who else we got to thank? Just everybody. You know, Bill and Gail Davis, and like I said, everybody at Toyota. The engine ran flawless. Goodyear tires were awesome. Just it's just way too cool. I love Martinsville. I don't like sometimes how it races here, but it's cool to be in victory lane here, I can tell you that.
Johnny, 104-point swing today, but I think the most amazing part, Skinner comes in here to give him congratulations. The most amazing part is a lot of guys talked about maybe not even pitting today. The rest of them went with fuel only, and you guys came in with a planned 4-tire stop, and I think maybe that was the difference to get you enough fuel to get to the end.
Well, we came in the same time they did, so our fuel aspect was about the same, but I knew that, you know, with the different plate that we got that nobody else has got or whatever, it takes more fuel mileage, so or it uses more fuel, I'm sorry. And I was really having to be easy on the gas, and our Tundra cornered so good. It was just unbelievable. That's where we made all of our time up through the corners, and then right at the end, I was starting to pedal a little bit when I had that lead, and then of course I didn't know I happened to run. I don't know if he ran out of fuel or what he did, but the minute I saw that, I just assumed it was fuel. I let right off the gas and just half throttled the last 2 laps. And, you know, I saw Kevin coming, but I figured he'd probably be close, same boat. I'm pretty sure we're out. I wasn't going to go around and do a victory lap, so I'm sure we're out too.
Well, congratulations on getting to victory lane. 4 to go in the championship chase.
Well, it ain't over until it's over, you know. I mean, we had a 119-point lead a little while ago, and of course we had our misfortunes at Vegas, but Trip and the guys just weekly do a great job for me, so that makes my job a little easier.
All right, congratulations. Johnny Benson back to victory lane, the first time ever for him here at Martinsville.
So not only does Johnny win the race, but Ron Hornaday ends up finishing 29th, losing 104 points to Johnny in the process. And it wasn't because of a crash. It was basically because of the Chevy horsepower advantage costing them in the fuel mileage game. Only 3 trucks ran out of fuel, but they were all Chevys. I basically got my birthday wish and then some. Because there is one detail I did leave out. Ever since Bobby Hamilton Sr.'s passing in January of 2007, I wanted to see Johnny and one of the BHR trucks finish 1-2 in a race, regardless of order. That should have happened at the spring Martinsville truck race in 2008, if not for Kyle Busch being a hypocritical dumbass.
Well, he drills my ass coming out of 4 for no reason. I mean, where was he going? What was he going to do? Spin me out? He was trying to do a Harvick is what he was trying to do. For what? For second place?
You know, my move was probably a pretty stupid move, people will call it. But, hey, I'm a racer. I'm going after another spot. I'm not happy with a third-place finish. I'm going to go for second if I've got a spot that I think I can get for second. And, you know, obviously, you know, stuff happens on the racetrack that happens on the racetrack, you know.
But eventually, the 1-2 finish I desire to see did, in fact, happen. Not only was it Benson Setzer 1-2, but Hornaday finished in the back of the pack due to something that wasn't a crash. And despite Hornaday's horsepower advantage at most of the other tracks for the rest of that season, this race, more than anything, was the true catalyst to Johnny Benson winning the 2008 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Championship. Sure, there's also the fact that Johnny outsmarted literally everybody by staying out of that second-to-last caution when he did at Homestead when he saw Ron Hornaday in front of him pit for fresh tires. And that, too, was a huge factor to his championship win. But that wouldn't have even been thought of if not for the events of this Martinsville race. True, the ending of the race is more of the reason for this being my favorite race than the rest of the race itself, especially Ben Stansel's rampage. But the race itself was actually very good. The racing was very intense start to finish, and there was a lot of action. Sure, there were a few spins and wrecks, but none were serious. And the last one ended up being pretty funny because post-race, someone actually carried Brendan Gaughan off and away from Timothy Peters before Peters got absolutely demolished by Gaughan. But the race ending and everything going exactly the way I wanted, and then some, was just the icing on the birthday cake. And there is one other thing about this race that I have not mentioned yet. Something that ended up making this race even more special. No one knew this at the time, but this race would end up being Johnny Benson's very last NASCAR win. A couple weeks after this race was the bombshell of sorts that Johnny was leaving Bill Davis Racing. It was unknown if he was going to just continue with another team or if he was going to retire from NASCAR after 2008. I do document the remainder of Johnny's NASCAR career in another video, among other things. The fact that my favorite racer's last NASCAR win came at technically my home track right after my birthday, and it was basically my birthday wish that came true to a T and then some, and it was the catalyst to his championship win, makes this race even more special and even more historic in the end. And that is why the 2008 Kroger 200, the Fall Martinsville Truck Race, is my all-time favorite race in not only all of NASCAR, but in all of auto racing.
Can you say subscribe to Ultimate 23 Dragons YouTube channel?
I gotta remember all that.
Just subscribe to Ultimate 23 Dragons YouTube channel.
Ultimate 23
Dragon.
Ultimate 23 Dragon?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, please subscribe to Ultra Dragon 23 something.